what haven't you talked about on the show? Like, you've had time to process that people would be surprised as. Like, give me a secret. I'm gonna go shut the door. I feel like it's loud. You can talk while I walk away.
Secret of the show.
Like a secret that most people would be surprised. I don't know, like it. You don't have to.
I think like the secret is.
Oh, thanks, Kelly. If you just lock
that
it.
People really have to know is like that. You know, I appreciate you saying like, you know, you got robbed and stuff, whatever. Like, thank you, and I really appreciate you voting and everything. It got me to the end, but I think I just want everyone to know that I really didn't want that contract. So, that's kind of been overwhelming that people just assume that, you know, you want that contract, and I didn't. And I think that's probably the most surprising to people in general. And it's because like it's complicated. Those recording contracts are complicated, and you're signing something that wouldn't be an individual contract. So that would probably be the biggest thing. I mean, otherwise, I think they think.
I was looking for something more like Blake isn't really wearing pants. John Legend doesn't have shoes on. Gwen was always late.
Well, I will say a funny thing with me in particular. I had probably like 10 wardrobe malfunctions. Like,
oh, really?
It did not matter. I was having a problem. Oh, one time for the knockouts, I walk out. This is the rehearsal. Both straps break the same time. Well, the battle, I had this beaded fringe, and Steven and I are singing Wrecking Ball, you know, and my fringe gets caught in his like jacket, and the beads just go all over the stage.
Did you miss a beat?
No, you just got to keep moving. And my belt fell off.
But you could have had a cartoon. I
know. It was like, oh my gosh. And then my blind audition outfit. Like, don't even get me started. We were in that same outfit for 3 weeks of shooting stuff, and it was like this one piece thing. And oh my gosh, I couldn't even unzip my own self, so I had to have a union female member unzip me every time. And I'm telling you guys, I drink a gallon of water a day, and I have the nervous peas. So you're always like peeing. And I was like, this is the most miserable outfit I could have ever like. And I didn't really pick it. It was so fast, the styling for that particular, because there's so many people. And I was like, can I change my outfit? It was taped. I had stuff going on underneath it. At one point, I was sweating when my parents got there. So I'm on the side of the stage, and I've got basically just a bra top on, and the girls are like blow drying my armpits because I'm so freaking nervous for the audition. I was just like, I need to get out of this. I just need to get out of this.
I would like not drink water forever if I will not do that.
You have to do it for your voice. You can't do that. That's terrible. And LA is really, really dry. And Burbank, definitely you're in a valley. So we had humidifiers.
Diaper was out of the question. Adult diaper. Not attractive in the dress.
Fit underneath that.
Not attractive.
Believe me. No depends were needed at that point. Right. But oh yeah, like, you know.
No, not having it.
I'm trying to think of some. Oh,
those
my
are
God,
good.
no,
Those are pretty good.
This one was really bad. This is definitely some tea.
Okay.
The Camila group member, Happy Together. Mm-hmm. Well, this is all live at this point.
Is this new? Nobody's heard this story?
This is new. Besides, like, I think I told, like, Bryce and Brayden and 2 other people, because they were like, what's wrong? Like, what's wrong? And I was like, there is a hole on my crotch. I had gotten up in that jean jumper, and I hated that jumper. It was a throw-in getup, and I had to get up, and it like opened up this hole, and I was like, oh my God, I have to go back on stage for elimination. And I'm just like, I felt like I couldn't breathe.
But handy for how much you pee, probably.
I was it was terrible. Again, another one piece thing. And so I'm walking up, and I was like, what if this all slices like up the back? Like, what am I gonna, it's all live. And I was just so like, get me out of this, get me out. I looked at all the stylists. I was like, I need out of this now.
What did they do?
You have to go back on and take pictures at the end. And I was like, oh my God. I looked at Camila and I go, because at that night we lost everybody on Camila's team besides me, and I looked at her. I was like, "There's literally a hole in my crotch." She's like, "What?" I was like, "There's a hole in my crotch." So we had many.
Shiro.
That was definitely like we had so many wardrobe like malfunctions.
That's very fun. Did you save any of like for when you get in the Country Music Hall of Fame?
They sent me pretty much everything. The only things that they couldn't send were stuff that was like stock. So like the If I Were a Boy dress was like it's in their wardrobe thing, and then that one piece at the very finale that was theirs. It was like rented or something. But for the most part, I got all that stuff. I don't know when I'm going to wear it again. But I was like, you're going to have to send it to me because these dresses weigh like 30 pounds each. So
I love that.
They were heavy.
I wore a very heavy... I don't think I've talked about... Here's a good tea. CMAs, I wore a heavy jacket that was so heavily beaded that we were doing gifts. This video will never surface. And Breland is a friend of mine. I love Breland. And he said, there's video of this, but not the malfunction. And he said, jump on my back.
Oh, no.
Well, exactly. Well, I'm a ready, fire, aim kind of person. And there was a moment where I thought, I'm not a small person. He's not a big person. Should I do this? And when I say this jacket, because it weighed 30 pounds. Maybe... Yeah. We'll allow even 10 pounds of exaggeration, but it definitely weighed 20 pounds, somewhere in between there. I get on his back. He has me for a minute. I had a leather skirt on.
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm. And then I lean back. I mean, he's strong. He has me. I definitely weigh more than he does, for sure.
And like, weird.
And I went down.
It ripped.
No, I fell. I fell. There was whatever video exists did need to be pixelated.
Oh my gosh, that is so embarrassing. See,
my children are like, if that ever surfaces, Mom, on the internet, we will disown you. So
that's what I'm saying.
I know.
If you're live, anything can happen live. Like Wendy Moten fell. During one of the live, that was the season before, and I was like, so when I almost slipped during my finale because that cape was so long, and I caught myself. I'm like, thank God I didn't fall. Like, I mean, just anything can happen, and like,
it's true.
But either way, I'm human, and
that's what I love about a show like The Voice. It's why I love doing live radio. Mm-hmm. Like, there are so few live experiences left.
Yeah.
And part of the beauty of live is like, this will be done, and if we do something really horrible, which we haven't and we won't,
you can edit it out.
We could always edit it out.
Yeah.
But the fun of watching or listening to something live, which is why I loved doing radio, is you just never know what could happen. You just want to know something could happen. You don't want to see anybody fail miserably, but that's what I love about shows like that you don't know. And that's what's great about going to theater, too. Mm-hmm. Going to a live theater performance.
And just real, true talent.
Yes.
It can't be manipulated.
Yeah, exactly. That's what's fun. Like, look at this delight. She's a delight. The way you laugh, your whole vibe. This is why people love you.
Oh.
And you also sing like an angel straight from heaven.
Oh, my gosh.
And that song, Hallelujah, is what got you that 4-chair blind audition turn on The Voice that led you all the way to the finals and how we reconnected. I mean, we've known each other a long time.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't even know how we know each other.
I know, me neither.
I feel like it might be Christy O.
Might be.
In the Blonde Nashville Club.
Yeah, but you know what? Hallelujah. I was really, really blessed to be able to sing it. They said they don't typically let artists sing that song. Really? Because it's so impactful. And here's what's really interesting about that song choice. Again, I didn't know what I was walking into because when I got there, they were like, well, every blind audition song has to be 90 seconds. So I went, what? I mean, typically when I sing Hallelujah, it's like 4 minutes long. So I quickly realized, oh, crap, it's a ballad. It's going to this is really going to cut it down. So I took a really long time to figure out my arrangement to dynamically build that song, because it's such an emotional roller coaster of a song to take you through, and you can't just like, I don't know, shoot for the stars right away. So I was really happy that people really connected, because again, 90 seconds is just like, dang, you know, but I was locked in by that point, so I had to figure it out.
That's the kind of inside tea, though, I like. Because that is such a, I mean, so they basically say, wow, that's so impactful, we don't want you to have that, or is that, I don't get it.
Well, they choose what song you're going to sing for your audition, and the thing was, there's a list of songs, right, that I think they must already have the licensing for, and then at the end of it, they say, well, what's top 3 songs on this list that you would want to sing? And obviously my first one was Hallelujah. That was also what I did my casting with. I sent in my casting thing. So that's how I think it all happened. They already saw my rendition. They already knew what I was, how I was going to sing it.
She's gonna blow this out of the water.
I hope. Yeah, it was really cool, and I was so shocked that I found out with the rest of the world that I was like the premiere of the leak or whatever, and I was like, wait, what's happening? Like all the cast members were on a big text together, and they're like, Morgan, it's you. I'm like, what? And randomly enough, I'm in that cave in Chattanooga on a cave hike to see those, what was Ruby Falls, and I can't see what's happening. All I can see is like random text coming in, and I'm like, what? So then I realized later, after I got out of the cave, what was going on. I was like, oh my God, I need to get home. I need to like deal with this.
Do you know the difference between a stalactite and a stalagmite?
No. I wasn't paying attention.
Here I am like asking that the tight is the one coming from the ceiling because it's holding tight, I think. I don't know. Now I'm going to get called out on this. And I don't care because it's my podcast.
My mind was going to that's what she said, and I didn't want to like go there.
No, you must.
But this is an FOK.
You know me. I put the OK in FOK.
Like, I don't know.
You're a little bit of a dirty fuck right there, but that's okay.
Oh crap! Now I'm gonna get labeled.
All right, so then you get the 4-chair turn. You're from Nashville. Obviously, you've worked with so many people. You probably even worked with Blake before.
I opened for him. I've met him. I actually hung out with him one time downtown. I remember one night we went to a karaoke bar. We started at Tin Roof on Demumbrand, and then we went to that karaoke bar on Printer's Alley. It's no longer there. Lonnie's. It was Lonnie's.
Oh, that's funny.
And I remember no one was there. It was probably like a Tuesday night or something. He was like, "Oh my gosh, your voice is like really good." Blah, blah, blah. And but yeah, we chatted for a long time. So I mean, I know he doesn't remember me, but then I had a show in like Idaho a few years back with him, and yeah.
I'm sure he thought he recognized you since some distance.
I don't know. I mean, it's pretty chill. He's meeting so many people. Right. It has to be overwhelming.
But you had your pick of the litter, and you decided to go with Camilla.
Yes.
And what was that about?
Well, she was the first one to turn it within 5 seconds and use her only block on Gwen. And I will say this, I never thought I was going to go on a show like that.
I know, I want to talk about that because I do know the backstory.
Really I went through a series of unfortunate events. I had a bad management deal, got out of that, finally was able to release my record. A month later, the pandemic hit, lost all those shows. 2021 came around. I had a bad agent that started committing fraud, which bellied up to the casting of The Voice, which I've been getting for years and years. And then I was like, well, screw it. It's by video. Let's just see what this is all about. And next thing I know, I'm in LA for a year. And everything has been so good. But I said, I'm gonna go on this show for exposure. It's a platform. It's what you do when you get off of the show. And where else are you going to get 8 million people every Tuesday and Monday watching you with basically just your time? It's not like you're spending money for that type of promotion, and it does. You get a lot of eyes on you. One of my biggest issues with the Voice was, you can't sing your own songs, and as a songwriter, you're really wanting to put out your artistry, and that was the hardest thing. But I thought, you know what, Morgan, you know how to make songs your own. And I also just knew that it would be a great place to truly tell my story and really get that out there. And the voice, I have to say, like the crew and the band and everybody from wardrobe to they all really listened to me. I cannot believe how much creative control I had. And they
is that probably your biggest surprise?
Yeah, I mean, they absolutely respected me as an artist, and they're like, you just really, really know who you are, and you're so talented, and you know, they're like, you know why you're here and why you're doing it. You're so smart, and you know what you want to do after this. And so,
do you think somebody who didn't or doesn't could get lost in it? I mean, not through the voice's fault, but just because it's so overwhelming?
Well, people ask me what would be the advice if somebody wanted to go on the show. And I said, you go on the show with a plan afterwards. Don't go into it thinking like, I don't know what to do. I like to sing. And you're coming from some place with no understanding of the music business or anything. You're getting too much exposure, and you're not going to be able to capitalize on it when you leave. So like, get your feet wet as an artist, and then go on that when you're ready to have all eyes on you, because it's a whirlwind and it's a lot, and like, you want to take that commitment that you've spent the time on to really move that train forward right after you get off the show.
Could Morgan Myles 15 years ago, little girl with a dream, have taken the advice you just gave and capitalized on it?
I think I would have absolutely listened to that, so that I, would want to make sure that, like, okay, are you ready for that type of exposure? Because if you don't have the songs and stuff, if you're ready to go afterwards, I think I absolutely would have listened, I was definitely very impressionable at that time as well. But it was a different world 15 years ago. Social media wasn't the same. It was truly just an isolated TV show versus what social media has become in today's world. So a lot of different factors have changed, and it's still very difficult to get casted on a television show. Yeah. And there's still a lot of money and power on television, and so that to me was a big eye-opener for the exposure and cutting through the mud of social media. So,
and kind of smart too, because this is what every artist, I feel like, even in New York, our listeners still, unless you were an artist like Blake or Carrie, probably not just New York, I don't know, that's just where my last 10 years experience was. But if you were not an artist that reached that level of fame to the wider pop culture knowing who you are, we still had to play the hooks of songs when we were giving away tickets to like a Chris Young, who's a hugely popular country artist within the country genre that everybody knows. But unless, they still, because it's become so much about the song instead of the artist. So it's smart of you, I think, to have chosen a Camilla, because then you get that exposure to a whole different world. You know Nashville.
Yeah, well, and the thing with Camila is, she, like, look at her following. It is massive. The girl was up for a Grammy this year, but really it's what she said. She's like, you're super versatile, and you're your own kind of country. Every time she nailed me, but when she started speaking, it was like she just got me, and I really did want to have a female because of what I feel like I've been fighting against my whole life in Nashville. And it's tough being a female in this industry, period. It's tough being a female, period, and so I just really felt like, and Camila does everything. I was right. She fights for causes, and she stands up for what she believes in, and that's why we had just such a mutual respect for one another. And I think the show downplayed our relationship, honestly, with the editing, because we were so tight and hanging out, and not everyone got to do that. So
what if she hadn't blocked Gwen? Would that have been a really tough decision to make?
I think I would have still gone with Camila. I really liked what John had said too, but I knew John was going to end up with, and he did, these amazing soul singers that I'm like, mic drop moment. So I I just felt like Camila too. She was only going to be on that season. So where did my marketing head go? It goes to they're going to be pushing Camila a lot. There was just so many wins for me.
That's so smart.
But there, she was going to be on all the commercials and that type of thing to push that demographic of hers coming in for ratings. And
was that your marketing brain, or did somebody say, like,
that was just
I'm not
me.
sure I would have thought that.
It's just me.
You are a smart fox.
I've been doing this for 22 seasons. You got to like start looking at it and you start to analyze it. Believe me, like I said, if I'm going to make a commitment on a show like that, what do I want to take away from it? And that's really where I started from before I made the commitment, because it's so strange. In what world do you not want to win the trophy? You know, you don't want to win that record deal. And it was odd. You just wanted to get to the end and put your best foot forward. And but every show, I mean, I've probably played 30 shows since the show wrapped. I mean, I've been hitting the road hard, and I'm constantly getting, you should have won the and I'm like, guys, I'm happy. Like, I didn't want to win it. Like, please. Like, ask my castmates. Like, I'm very, 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 very blessed and happy with what I took away. Everything that I wanted from the show. And Camila and I even talked about it.
I genuinely, I've been around the block a few times, although I do want to get a t-shirt that says, "This is my first rodeo." So I think that'd be funny. But I do think, honestly, you get that far and you did win. I mean, honestly.
I mean, we all got the same amount of exposure. I mean, that's... And where did the fan bases, they start to build, and then you hit the road immediately, and you're building and that's what it's all about.
And then you get to create your own deal, and you're not that the deals are as bad as they used to be.
And the team that's really wanting you. Yeah. Like we all know that this business is really based upon your cheerleaders, and you have to have them. You can't have people because it just won't work. And so in a way, you just kind of have to handpick your team of cheerleaders that really get you, your vision, and who you are as an artist, and also just good people to work with. So your life isn't miserable.
It's true. Because
I've been through that too.
It's so true. Kind of, if there is a subtitle to this, because this whole last year of my life has been such a big learning year and another reinvention for me too. As the radio thing went away, and I'm, kind of pivoting to what's next. And so the subtitle of kind of the podcast is also The Nashville Truth, because everybody's truth is different. And I feel like that is one of the truths you just mentioned about this town, and probably every town, but in particular this town, of like finding that team, finding people who will step up for you, and keeping your circles really small. And I mean, how to say that without, because it's none of it's personal, like everything, none of it's personal, but you do have to find that group that's like, yes, she's our girl. Yeah, we're doing this for her, because there's only so many hours in the day, and there's so many talented people in this town. And in some ways, you got to find the right people behind you.
Right, 100%. I think, though, a lot of times, even like the business side, they make it personal on the artist. And the biggest thing, and I think the hardest thing for artists, is if you have like somebody that's more on the toxic side or negative, when they represent you, it's not like Joe Schmo. No, it's Morgan Myles' manager, Morgan Myles' team, and you have to take that and shoulder that. And that's hard, because one of my biggest things is I am a very, very kind, compassionate person, and I want to reach my audience and want them to feel like they know me and we're friends, and I do really, really appreciate their love and support. So when somebody gets in the middle of that and represents me in a way that's not me, it absolutely will be the quickest thing of like, I have to get rid of you. This is not right, because that's what people will walk away with, and they think I am an a-hole, and I'm not. So, and that bothers me. So, and it's constant, it's a constant struggle of just trying to find the right people to fit, and so that you can be your best, because God knows there's only one of me, and there's not enough time in the day, and you're trying your best. You really are, and you got to stay as healthy as you can. And
thanks for the good tea. The debut album's Therapy. I was jamming on it before you came in today. I believe is great. Sanctuary is great. And you've been performing that out on the road, and you already mentioned you're getting great response on that. Like, how cool is it to have people singing back your songs? I mean,
it's amazing, and requesting your original stuff too, which is just such a blessing. It means the world to me. It means that they actually connect and they feel it like I do, and that's what my job is. So it's just been really, really great. A lot of people now are just hearing, Therapy, this debut album, when I'd released it January 2020, and so now we've got new music about to come out here. I've got a lot of collabs happening, and we're just staying musical. I'm out on the road with Drake White for a lot of dates.
Yeah, that's a good pairing, I think.
It's a great pairing. Me and Drake have known each other for like 15 years, and so it's good just kind of being back. We used to play every Monday and Tuesday at Blue Bar, and then Tap and Tapas, like for like over a year. And so it's just great. We have both that super soulful, you never know what we're gonna do type stuff. So the other night he's like, Mo, get out here, let's sing Joe Cocker's Have a Little Help with My Friends, and it was just it was awesome. And so we've got a bunch of shows together, and then I'm headlining a bunch. Like I said, we'll be in New York at the Cutting Room June 14th, and but we have a whole New England run. Braden Lape, who was also in the finale with me, I've been helping write and produce his music, and
that's great.
I asked him to come out for those shows, and we're doing it's like New England. We got some shows in Maine and New Hampshire and
I love it.
Massachusetts and New York.
And then when is the new album coming out?
It's coming. There's some different opportunities, so it's just making sure, again, the right team and the right people, we just do it the right way.
So you haven't signed with anybody yet?
I haven't signed, and I'm just truly trying to decide what the right path is, and it's a hard decision. I think in a week or two I will finally just say
a week or two?
Not well.
By the time this drop
in a week. I mean, a week or two. I just need to make a decision, and then that's how we will start.
So by
releasing.
the time I release this, you'll probably be decided. Who you can already say who your collaborations with.
One that's coming out in May is with Jake Pulitti. I think he's got one of the best. He's an up-and-comer, but he has one of the best voices I've heard in town. And he approached me and asked me to be a part of it, and I just love his voice. I was just like...
I don't know. I'm going to look him up.
I'm telling you,
spell his name?
The man can sing. Jake, Jake, Pulitti, Puliti.
All right.
But man, this man, and the song was just so good. I couldn't resist. So this is coming out real quick. But yeah, I have some other stuff, but I don't want to say yes or not because it's like, again, some red tape of getting through that with some of those duets. But
quick word association with guys you've toured with. Just first thing that comes to your brain. Luke Bryan.
Super nice, kind of goofy guy.
Yeah. Rick Springfield, my crush as a kid.
I'll never forget the Roses, how he plays all these innuendos that he's going to Jesse's girl, and he's using roses to play it. I was just like, whoa.
Okay. I'm gonna have to Google that.
His fans are intense. They've got his face on their breasts, you know, it's tattooed. Yeah. It's a whole nother level.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. Hank Jr.
So funny. I had used 2 of his band members, and he didn't even notice until we're sitting there taking a picture. He's like, "Did you use my band?" He's like, "Well, that's pretty badass." Okay, Morgan. Okay. And it was in Texas, so it was a great show because they had been tailgating all day long. So they came in rowdy and rough, ready to go. So.
All his rowdy friends. See what over there. Jake Owen.
Oh, I love Jake. You know what? Jake was really cool. He has this table side stage, and he had me come on and I could watch the whole concert just literally right there the whole time
I feel
on
like
stage.
he doesn't get enough credit.
He doesn't, and I love his songs. Like
I love Down to the We Go Down to the Honky Tonk.
I know so many of his songs, and I've always loved his voice, and I even love his new one, like She's a Little Down Here, Down Here.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da. It's so good.
I feel like Greetings from Jake Owen I feel like there were so many songs on there that should have been really, I don't know why that, I mean, it did well, but I feel like there was one, I just feel like it's so old school. He's almost like, oh my gosh, who was that guy from, Jerry Reed. Mm-hmm. Old school, like 70s. I feel like he could go to a 70s vibe.
Total vibe. We were actually rehearsing last week, like in 2 separate rooms with his band. I was like, man, I need to be like, get me on more dates with you, because it was fun. I enjoyed myself a lot, and just I like when people take extra time to like, hey, I'd love for you to come and watch the show and da 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 da. So
then you call yourself a truth teller.
Camila coined that, and I thought it was really great.
So I came up with some kind of truth questions for you. No. Because I told you about the Nashville truth, right? That's kind of my subtitle. So how about this? When was the last time you lied? Kind of like that.
I'm like the worst liar. Like, ask my parents. Like, they make fun of me because when I was young, I said I can't live a lie. My sister was like, "Are you kidding me? Like, what a nerd." Same. I think I'm so afraid to lie because I'm gonna get in trouble. I don't like getting in trouble.
Same.
But I don't know. That's a hard one. If anything, it would probably be like a little white lie, like, "Oh, I love your whatever." You know?
That's a shirt.
Oh wait, how about I did lie? Okay, I was in a meet and greet on Sunday, and someone said, "You don't remember me, do you?" I was like, "Oh yeah, of course I remember you." No clue, but I don't want them to think that I want to know you, because you just meet so many people, and I'm like, I don't want them to think I didn't remember them. Like, you're still important to me. So that was
I lie very little
I just
too.
felt bad saying that because I was like, that's like I don't want to lie.
Because they know. I feel like sometimes when I do that when I meet people, I feel like somehow they know too. I'm lying.
I know.
So, but I lied. I remember my last one because I did feel so bad about it because I feel like it could come. My mother was in Louisville and she was asking why I was visiting, and I told her I had COVID. It was back over.
No, you're not.
And I feel like I was gonna get COVID. Sorry, Mom. When was the last time you cried?
Probably like this morning. Probably. Honestly, I was so tired on this flight. We had just wrapped at like midnight, and I had 4 hours of sleep, and I had to get to the airport to play Virginia with my band. So I'm coming off the bus with Drake. Wait, they're headed back to Nashville, but I've got one more show, you know? And I get to the airport, and I'm in TSA pre-tech, and I have the pre-workout, and they're making me look like I have drugs, and they did a full pat down on me like crazy. And I think what happened was I was so tired, and I was just like, I don't need this today.
Yeah.
I just need to get through these 2 flights so that I can do what I'm supposed to do. And it's shit like that drives me over when I'm that exhausted. And I was like, and you don't have to talk to me like that. When people are mean to me, and it's like, you know, this is ridiculous, and you're feeling up underneath my boobs in front of everybody and everything. I just felt very violated for literally a can that says C4 pre-workout, and then they took the pre-workout. I went through all of that.
It's like $35 too.
And I needed that specifically to get through that show, that 2-hour show, because I knew I was going to be ran ragged. And
I mean, to be fair, it is.
It does look very caffeinated.
If you do not work out when you take that, my hair starts like tingling.
But it's a lot of caffeine. It's good stuff. But you know, I need caffeine.
Yeah. Wrapping things up with my girl Morgan Myles. Look for her out on the road. Follow her on Morgan Myles Live. For everybody in New York City, which is where all my peeps are, girl. June 14th at the Cutting Room. Get your tickets. You probably have a link.
Just go to my website, morganmyleslive.com, and all my shows are there. You can get tickets right now.